Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Brieanna, and it says Lightfoot Smith. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow, thank you for saying yes. I'm so excited. And we met on Facebook, I think. I think,
We
yes,
did. Yes,
we
that was
met,
it.
but I don't know nothing about you and the podcast listener as well. So I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Absolutely. Yes. So my name is Brieanna Lightfoot Smith, everyone. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a God girl. I love me some Jesus all day long. I have been in Texas for really most of my life. But I went and lived in Missouri for a while, lived in New Orleans, and now I'm back in Texas. And I love working with women. I love creating spaces for women to connect. And I always tell people my personal mission statement is to connect women to Christ calling and community. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, I love that very much. Yeah, thank you so much. And my first question is, what inspires you?
What inspires me is really seeing women walk in their purpose. Just a little bit more about me. When I was a teenager, I actually struggled with suicidal ideations. And so I thought often about, ending my life because I just felt like I didn't have a lot to live for. And whenever I got really just closer to God, because even at that point I had grown up in the church, but really started to know Him for myself. I really started to see that there was just so much more that He had put on the inside of me, that there were all these talents and gifts that He's placed on the inside of me. And unfortunately, because I wasn't really in an environment as far as school was concerned where that those gifts were cultivated, it made me question myself, right? And I didn't feel confident. But when I started connecting with other women who had similar gifts, or I started getting around groups like my school's newspaper staff, where I was able to write because I love writing, I really started to see those giftings grow. So I really love seeing women walk in their passion and gifts, because it just gives us that excitement, right? And it gives us the inspiration to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, and also satisfaction. Can one say this? I'm not sure about when we have a desire, we have a purpose. You pointed that out, how important it is. And it makes us jump out of bed and working on our goals. I love that very much. I'm working as well this way and with people to find their purpose. Yes, so we have something in common. We empower women, and this is very
Absolutely.
amazing. Wow, I love it, what you said. Thank you so much. And my next question is, who inspires you?
Ooh, who inspires me? I would have to say I have so many inspirations, but my mom is a huge inspiration for me. She's just such a servant leader. And even though she's been in a lot of different positions where she's more forward facing, like she's been on television, she worked in radio, right? Like she's had these really cool careers. I think I've always been inspired by the fact that she serves with such a humble heart, and she really is not doing anything for the recognition of other people. It's really just like she's motivated by her faith, and she's like, hey, I know I have to give an account for how I live my life at the end of the day. And so she allows that to kind of order her steps, and I love that about her.
Wow, I love what you said about the servant leader. This is a nice expression to describe someone or to describe your mom, of course.
Yes.
And what else did you say, that she's not doing it for something or for
Right.
someone? She's
Yeah.
doing it for the faith, something you
Yeah,
said.
she's driven
Yeah.
by her faith. Yeah,
Mhm,
exactly. Like she's
mhm.
like, okay, I got to give an account to Jesus with how I spent my life. So that's my motivating factor. I'm not necessarily looking for people to applaud me, or I'm not trying to get an award or anything like that. And I think I've always told her, I said, there's going to be so much stuff that you've done that no one will ever know except for the person who was on the receiving end of the good thing that you did.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean. That is the best, not purpose, but intention. Let's say
Yeah,
intention to act, or to not be dependent on approval from other people. Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, my next question is, how do you inspire other people?
Ooh, I inspire other people by showing up authentically. I am someone who really gives, especially the moms that I work with, because I work with a lot of moms who are building businesses from home. I really give them permission to show up imperfectly, right? So, especially when I used to do one-on-one coaching, my moms would show up and their kids might be like acting crazy in the background. And they're like, I'm so sorry. And I've always told them, do not apologize because we cannot control our kids. As much as we want to feel like we can't. And you're still modeling for them what it looks like to persevere even in kind of chaotic situations. And so I think that that's the way that I inspire others is really by showing up as my full self, telling people, hey, even as I'm doing right now, I take calls in the closet sometimes because it's quieter, right? But I also want to let my children know, hey, this is our home, so you should get to spend time in here and laugh and play and be loud. I'll just find kind of another quiet spot in the meantime, in between time. So I think that that's one of the ways that I inspire people.
Wow, I love that very much because in the old world or the old beliefs were that kids have to be quiet all the time, sitting around, not disturbing or so. And now it is so much easier. You can present your kids on camera or on without being embarrassed. I don't know the the right word. It's normal, it's normal to
Yes.
have your family in your home, your what did you say? Build businesses from home
Yeah,
also?
I
Yeah.
help moms build businesses from home. So it's like, hey, you're
Mhm,
at the place where you're conducting business and your kids are there too. So it's fine. We
mhm.
already understand. Bring them to the Zoom meeting, bring them to, my children, I went on Instagram Live last week and they are right there in the back and they were like, hey, everybody. And I'm like, that's fine. I just want to show women that that's okay.
Yeah, and we are not denying our kids. This is important. Yeah.
Right.
You said you have 2 kids. I have 2 kids too, and
Three. I have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old boys, all
oh,
boys.
wow. This is really amazing. And you are empowering women and especially moms, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Working with
Okay.
moms.
My next question is, but you said this in the beginning already, your gifts and talents. What are your gifts and talents?
Communicating, which is one of the reasons why I love coming on to podcasts, connecting with people, because it does allow me to, I'm really good at not just sharing my own story, but really providing a space for other people to share their stories as well. I'm a writer, so I have 4 books that I've published. And so that's another method of communication. So if I were to just pick one word, I would say communication, whether that's written communication, whether it's verbal, right? If it's I created a new company called Be Light Media because I think that a lot of people struggle with communicating, whether it's through visuals, right? If they think about their own presence, if they think about things like their website, they really struggle with that. So communication is definitely one of my biggest gifts.
Yeah, it can be also that they don't have the habit. They can,
Yeah,
if you train something
that's
or
true.
practice, then it comes easier.
That's true. Because people are always shocked to know that I don't there was a time where I did not like public speaking and they're like, "There no way, no way." But I told them I'm like talking on podcasts, um, I do would do Bible studies on Instagram Live and now we do them on Zoom. I'm like, when you talk a lot, you get better at it, right? It's just with anything. If you're practicing an instrument, the more you use the instrument, the better you get. So I find the same thing with communication.
Yeah, it can also be considered as instrument, your voice to get the message out.
Yeah. I love that connection. You're right. It is an instrument.
Yeah, yeah, the connection. Yes, we are connected. This is also a purpose of my podcast. It came by intuition in December and in the middle of the night. And it said to me, we can say it was God talking to me by
Yeah.
intuition and said, create your podcast. And here I am connecting people all over the world. This
Yeah.
is
I
so
love how quick you were to follow that though, right? Because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, years ago I got this notion. You were like, okay, December, all right, January, February, we're already on it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it went so quick, and we have episode 105, I think,
Wow.
within 7 weeks. So now I trained myself, and what's next? I don't know. So
Oh
we are
wow.
at the same, not position, but where we started. When you
Yeah.
said there was the time you were, what was the verb? You didn't want to speak, or so you were not you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
now.
I felt like I was only comfortable writing, and it took a
Mm.
friend. I was doing a retreat with a friend at our church, and she was like, "Will you come and speak to our girls?" And I said, "I don't really speak. I just write." I said, "But I can write it down and read what I wrote." And she was like, "That's fine." And that led to everything I'm doing now.
Wow. Or you could also read from your books?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, this would
Yeah.
be great. Yes, as well. Wow. So I love to look for your books after our interview. Of course, I can
Absolutely.
put it in the show notes for our listeners, but we are not at the end yet.
Mhm.
May I ask you for what is your purpose? You said empowering women, but
Mhm.
also personal purposes, or what is next?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really, at my core, I feel like I'm a storyteller. I think it's the reason why, even in sharing my faith and what Jesus has done in my life, why it's not just the standard. Yes, I am going to share scripture, Romans 10:9, right? If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised Jesus from the dead, you shall be saved. But I feel like I bring life to a lot of things because I'm like, okay, yes, that is scripture. And yes, if you do confess Jesus, that's going to happen. Like you are going to be saved and get to spend eternity with him in heaven. But I think the way I look at my faith is like, what does it look like today though? Like, I don't want it to just look like this thing that I get to one day in eternity, right? Like, how do I experience heaven on earth? And so I think this season that I'm in right now is really like, how do I experience heaven on earth in my home? How do I maintain my home in such a way that it feels like heaven on earth for my family, right? In my business, how do I create systems and even digital products and things that create such a harmonious environment for me to be able to generate income without feeling stressed out and feeling like I'm neglecting my family, right? So I think just embedding that storytelling, embedding that structure and organization and harmony into everything is really where I'm at right now. And it's just been a really beautiful place to be in because what I'm seeing is that I really want to help women to operate in their purpose and create a life and business they love, but without burning out in the process.
Yes. So it is about persistence,
Mm.
resilience, and what was the
Consistency. I would say consistency.
consistency? Okay. Yes. Yes. Persistence is something.
Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Consistency, showing up every day for yourself.
Mhm.
Yes. Then stand in your power. And what
Yeah.
else? And when you
And
mentioned
even what you
about,
said about the resilience, that's so good too, right? Because I think whenever we have those seasons of life where that are just a little bit harder, it can cause us to question everything. And we start asking ourselves, like, man, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I have just found, even in the loss of, I had two miscarriages over the course of a 6-month period. I had some things going on with my health. My children were like fighting each other, like crazy for a season, and me just having that, like, no, I will not give up, I will continue to keep showing up. I feel like I'm seeing the fruit of that. And so I think it kind of ties back to what I was saying about giving women permission to show up imperfectly. Like, hey, it may not be the best day right now, but you can still push forward in what you feel like you're supposed to be doing.
yes. And if you show up, you show yourself, you are there. And
Mhm.
other people are not. I know it's not about comparison.
Yeah.
But you being here today is the gift.
Yeah,
You mean you are
absolutely.
present. Yes. Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, also what you told about when you are sharing the Bible or scripture, you call it scripture, okay, then
Yes.
it is different. There's a difference between sharing and sharing. You can read a text, you can read something, or you can give it life, your life, and this is also spirit. So
Yeah.
inspiration, this is in spirit. You enter into the
Oh,
spirit.
wow.
Yeah. Well,
That's so powerful. Yes, in
yes,
spirit.
yeah,
Yes, I
in
love
spirit.
that.
So you give it life by your being and you embody it. This is what I feel when we talk. Really, you are into it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that so
Wow.
much. I'm writing that down. That's so
Oh,
good.
this is cool. You know what? We will have a book from the podcast with the transcript. Yes. Wow,
Oh,
this is
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, this is news.
Yes.
Nobody knows, but you know now. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a
Mhm.
wonderful idea too.
Yeah, it's so easy. Thank you so much. Okay, my next question. If people reach out to you after listening to this episode with the
Mhm.
code inspired, so we know they are coming from that podcast through the podcast. This is amazing. Do you have a special offer for the inspired
Yes.
podcast community?
So, if there's anyone who's listening to this and you want to start a business, because you feel like even if you love your corporate job, you feel like there's more you should be doing, I have what's called the Brand Builders Blueprint. And so it's one of my courses. And if you use the code INSPIRE, then yes, you can get a special price on that Brand Builders Blueprint course that will walk you through what kind of business you should start, how to start it on a budget, and then how to even like barter for services because that can be a thing, and then how to get your, kind of dip your toe into early stages of marketing.
No, you were frozen. You were frozen, but you spread your message, right?
Yes,
You were
yes, yes.
frozen for a second. Okay, please reach out to Brieanna. Wow, she's amazing, and I'm
Thank you
so
so
happy that
much.
you were on my podcast show. Thank
Yes,
you
thank you
so
for
much.
having me. Yes, brandsbybrie.com, y'all.
Mhm. Okay, we put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.